a lot of niggas fuck with dirt. So a lot of niggas ain't gonna fuck with YoungBoy shit because they fuck with dirt.
21 Savage and NBA YoungBoy went from hanging in each other's neighborhoods with no bad intentions to becoming one of rap's most intense rivalries. They were once so close that YoungBoy even got a 4L tattoo on his neck as a tribute to 21 Savage. That's how real their bond was. But everything flipped upside down on November 6th, 2020. What happened that night in Atlanta didn't just mark a tragic loss for King Von. It shattered a brotherhood that once seemed unbreakable. From late-night studio sessions filled with energy to public tension on podcasts, and from heated clubhouse talks to picking sides in a conflict that no one could truly win, the drama only grew louder. Stick around till the end, because once you see how it all went down, you'll understand how loyalty, the very thing that holds hip-hop together, ended up tearing apart one of the realest friendships in the game. This story runs deeper than anyone expected. To really get how it all began, we need to rewind back to 2016 and 2017, when both NBA YoungBoy and 21 Savage were hungry and determined artists grinding their way up. These weren't label-made stars, they were real ones, turning their pain into platinum hits. Deshaun Golden.
Yeah, he wrote me on Instagram, I put up on him. I had a chop on me. I put up on him, I hopped out the Sprinter van. He like, hey, put that up, you don't need that around here. But, man, I fuck with Savage. I think he about the second one that ever just let me pull up on him. You know, a lot of rappers scared.
Better known as NBA YoungBoy, was already shaking up the scene out of Baton Rouge, and his rise was just getting started. By 2017, NBA YoungBoy was dropping mixtapes so fast it felt like he was setting a new trend every month. When AI YoungBoy dropped in August 2017, it made one thing clear. Louisiana had a new star on the rise. The proof was in the numbers. The project hit number 24 on the Billboard 200, and YoungBoy was still technically independent. But what really set him apart wasn't the stats, it was his raw honesty. His music felt real. When he rapped about pain, loss, and coming up from the bottom, you could feel every word. Tracks like Outside Today weren't just hits, they were his truth turned into sound. YoungBoy wasn't just making songs, he was opening his heart on every track, and people connected with that energy. Meanwhile in Atlanta, Shayar Ben Abraham Joseph, better known as 21 Savage, was building his own movement. After teaming up with Metro Boomin for Savage Mode in 2016, he'd already caught serious attention, but 2017 took things to another level. His album Issa Album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, proving he wasn't just another artist out of Atlanta, he was a powerhouse. What made Savage stand out was his voice and his style. That cold, calm delivery wasn't an act, it was his reality. When you've been through tough experiences, sometimes the only way to share your truth is with control and focus, and that's exactly what he did. This was real street rap with depth and emotion. Both YoungBoy and 21 Savage spoke about real pain, real struggle, and real-life consequences. In hip-hop, authenticity is everything. You can't pretend where you come from, and you definitely can't fake the kind of emotions that turn into timeless music. Both artists had that genuine energy in their music, and that's what pulled them toward each other from the start. No one knows every single detail about how NBA YoungBoy and 21 Savage first crossed paths, but by late 2017 and early 2018, it was clear they were building something real. This wasn't just an industry friendship for the cameras, it was genuine brotherhood. According to posts and comments from that time, they were introduced through mutual friends in Atlanta's buzzing music scene. Atlanta has always been the heart of Southern rap, and YoungBoy was spending plenty of time there working on new sounds. 21 Savage, being one of the city's hottest names, naturally connected with him, and from there, things just clicked. What really solidified their bond wasn't a hit song or a viral moment, it was the time they spent locked in the studio together. People close to the two have said that YoungBoy and 21 would spend hours in the booth, not just creating music, but talking about life, family, and the way to fame. He was young, ambitious, and trying to figure out how to stay grounded while the world was watching. 21 Savage saw in YoungBoy someone who truly understood what it meant to carry the weight of real life while trying to survive in the spotlight. And YoungBoy, on the other hand, saw in 21 a blueprint. Someone who managed to make that jump from the streets to superstardom without losing who he really was. That mutual respect ran deep. And this is where the story takes a powerful turn. In 2018, YoungBoy made a move that caught everyone off guard. Even some of his closest friends couldn't believe it. He got 4L tattooed on his neck. For anyone who doesn't know, 4L stands for For Life, and it's a phrase directly tied to 21 Savage's movement and message. Now here's why this moment hit different in the world of hip-hop. Getting someone else's phrase or symbol inked permanently isn't just about admiration, it's a massive show of loyalty.
If you got a problem with him and with both of y'all, but I with him a little harder, I'm naturally gonna be like, man, just naturally me. So before I be fake and be in the middle, I'd rather squash it like, bro, just squash it with him so I don't gotta say f him too, type shit. Cause I got to say, I got to say, there's no way I can be cool with both of y'all like and just play the middle. I'm not no
So how does it work?
This isn't like wearing someone's hoodie or giving them a shout out in a verse. This is something you carry forever. By getting that 4L tattoo, YoungBoy was sending a message across the entire rap community that 21 Savage wasn't just an ally in music, he was family. In that culture, loyalty means everything. It's the code, the foundation, the one thing that defines who's really solid and who's not. But that tattoo was only the start of what would become one of hip-hop's most talked about friendships. We're talking about two major artists from totally different worlds, Baton Rouge and Atlanta, who were confident enough to visit each other's neighborhoods with no big entourage, no fear, just genuine trust. That's not something you see often, especially in a world where fame usually creates distance. In one interview clip found online, YoungBoy shared a story that showed just how real that trust was. He said, yeah, that's big bro. Yeah, he wrote me on Instagram. I pulled up on him. I had a chop on me. I pulled up on him. I hopped out the Sprinter van. He like, hey, put that up. You don't need that round here, you know? But I messed with Savage. I think he about the second one that ever just let me pull up on him. You know, a lot of people scared. That quote says everything. YoungBoy was basically explaining that Savage made him feel comfortable enough to relax. No tension, no fear, just genuine respect. In that world, when someone tells you, you don't need that round here, it's more than just words. It means, you good, I got your back. That level of trust is rare and powerful. And the proof of their bond didn't stop there. Another story from YoungBoy himself shows how close they had become. He once said, I was in Atlanta, me and Savage. Well, Savage decided let's throw a pool party. I'm like, bet. So it happened. Me and him went shopping. You feel me? We was racing and stuff. YoungBoy said, I wanted to race, but we was racing. So by the time we got to the pool party, it was light. But then everybody got to popping up. Thug pulled up, others pulled up, Meek pulled up. That moment says a lot. This wasn't just about music or business deals. These guys were really living life, enjoying the moment, and showing genuine friendship that went way beyond the industry. They weren't just linking up in the studio to record, they were shopping together, racing cars through the city, and throwing parties that brought out some of the biggest names in the game. This was a real bond, the kind that's rare in a world full of competition and fake smiles.
What made the friendship between YoungBoy and 21 Savage so special was how pure it felt in hip-hop. In an industry that's often full of staged relationships and publicity stunts, these two stood out because their connection came from respect and real energy. They didn't need to pretend. Their bond spoke for itself. Their friendship also became a symbol for something bigger, unity across the South. YoungBoy carried Louisiana on his back, while 21 Savage was leading Atlanta's new wave. Together, they showed this Southern artist could uplift each other instead of competing. That kind of unity was powerful. 21 respected YoungBoy's emotional depth and how he could pour his feelings into his music and still connect with millions. And YoungBoy admired how 21 handled his career, the way he moved smart, stayed consistent, and built something lasting. They truly respected each other's artistry. And in hip-hop, that kind of genuine appreciation is rare and powerful. But even at the peak of their friendship, there were small signs that loyalty might one day become a challenge. See, 21 Savage has always been known for his deep loyalty to the people he cares about. In interviews, he said he'd rather lose out on opportunities than ever betray someone close to him. That's how serious he takes loyalty. In one interview clip from our research, someone broke it down perfectly. 21 Savage's kryptonite is loyalty, bro. It's the best and worst thing about him because I swear, when he's with you for real. He'll stand by you so much that he might even turn down major deals just because he wants to stay loyal. He'll hang with you, support you, and turn down $1 million out of respect. Then he'll watch you go make $3 million doing that same deal, but he won't say a word because that's not how he moves. He just won't rock with you anymore if you cross that line. That quote says everything. 21 Savage's loyalty runs so deep that it can be both his strength and his weakness. He's the kind of person who believes in real principles. If he's rocking with you, he's all in. But if he ever feels betrayed or disrespected, that door closes fast, and it's hard to come back from that. People who've known 21 for years have said the same thing. He's cut off a lot of people, not out of anger, but because he refuses to go against his own code. Once he stands on something, he don't move from it, no matter what's at stake. That description of 21 Savage's loyalty would turn out to be spot on. It was that same unshakable loyalty that will one day put him in an impossible position, forcing him to make a decision that would end his friendship with YoungBoy for good. While NBA YoungBoy and 21 Savage were busy building what looked like an unbreakable brotherhood, another bond was forming behind the scenes, one that would change everything. Around that same time, 21 Savage started getting close with Lil Durk, the face of OTF, Only the Family, out of Chicago. And honestly, that connection made perfect sense. Both 21 and Durk came from tough beginnings, built their names from the ground up, and made it to the mainstream without ever losing their realness. They both understood what it meant to represent their cities with pride and to carry that weight on their shoulders while staying true to who they were. Durk, being more seasoned in the industry, naturally took on a bit of a mentor role for 21. He showed him how to move smart, balancing success, business, and reputation, all while keeping that authentic image intact. Their friendship was grounded in mutual respect and shared experience. Two artists who both faced real obstacles and earned everything they had. As 21's friendship with Durk grew stronger, it brought him closer to the whole OTF circle, including King Von, who was Durk's protege and one of Chicago's brightest rising stars at the time. Von had charisma, serious storytelling talent, and a reputation for loyalty that matched Durk's energy. The OTF movement stood for something powerful in hip-hop. It wasn't just a crew making music together, it was a real family. They looked out for one another, supported each other's careers, and still united no matter what came their way. For someone like 21 Savage who valued loyalty more than anything, that sense of brotherhood was hard not to admire. For a while, 21 managed to balance both worlds perfectly. He was cool with NBA YoungBoy and still tight with the OTF camp. There wasn't much tension at first, because those relationships existed in completely different spaces. YoungBoy was his southern connection, a peer who understood what it was like to come from struggle and rise up through pure determination. Meanwhile, OTF was more like his Chicago family, a team of brothers and mentors who were helping him navigate the higher levels of the music game. But in hip-hop, especially in the side of the culture where loyalty runs deep, trying to maintain ties with different groups can get tricky fast. The game demands authenticity, and being authentic sometimes means you have to make choices when people around you start clashing. What a lot of fans didn't realize at the time was the YoungBoy in the OTF circle were already moving in completely different lanes that didn't always mix well. YoungBoy was known for doing things his own way, staying independent, keeping his circle tight, and steering clear of industry politics. He didn't care much about alliances or music industry networking. He just wanted to drop songs and speak his truth. The OTF crew was playing the game on a higher level, one that often required making smart, strategic moves when it came to friendships and business ties. But another key detail, one that would later play a major role in everything that was happening in the rap world, was NBA YoungBoy's close bond with Quando Rondo. Coming from the South too, Quando was one of YoungBoy's most loyal friends and trusted collaborators. Their friendship had that same type of realness YoungBoy once shared with 21 Savage. It was built on loyalty, respect, and shared experiences. But just like every major figure in hip-hop, Quando had his own story, his own challenges, and his own history that would eventually connect to the bigger picture of what was happening in the rap world. His role in YoungBoy's circle would later become one of the most important factors in the fallout between YoungBoy and 21 Savage. As 21 continued to build stronger bonds with both YoungBoy and the OTF family, the pressure started to mount. He respected YoungBoy deeply. That 4L tattoo on his neck was proof of how tight their connection once was. But at the same time, 21's friendship with OTF and Lil Durk was also genuine and rooted in real loyalty. He wasn't picking sides, or at least not at first. He was just being true to everyone he cared about. But in the world of hip-hop, divided loyalty rarely lasts for long. The culture doesn't really leave room for neutrality when things start to rise. Once things get heated, people expect you to stand on one side or the other. And trying to stay in the middle can cost you everything. Record labels, booking agents, and other industry insiders always keep an eye on who artists are associated with. Because in hip-hop, relationships can change everything. From collaborations to tours to brand deals, who you stand beside can either open doors or quietly close them. So as NBA YoungBoy and the OTF movement kept rising, the pressure on 21 to take a side was growing stronger, even if no one said it out loud. People in the industry were paying close attention, trying to figure out where his loyalty really stood. By late 2019 and early 2020, 21 Savage was on the top of the world. His album I Am, I Was had debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200. And he was working with some of the biggest names in the game. To the public, everything looked perfect. But behind the scenes, tension was slowly starting to build.
The hip-hop landscape was getting more divided, with different crews forming their own alliances and rivalries. Everyone could feel that things were getting more serious, and eventually, lines would have to be drawn. 21 was caught right in the middle, between two powerful circles that didn't see eye to eye. At the same time, NBA YoungBoy was also reaching a new level of success. His numbers were climbing, his fan base was massive, and his independence made him stand out in an industry dominated by major labels. But that same independence and his loyalty to his inner circle was starting to clash with how the bigger players in the game operated. Everything was leading toward a breaking point, a moment that no one could stop once it started. Then came November 6th, 2020, the night that changed hip-hop forever. That night didn't just claim lives, it ended friendships and changed hip-hop forever. To understand why this event hit so hard and completely broke the bond between NBA YoungBoy and 21 Savage, we need to look at what actually went down and why it put 21 in such an impossible position. The details of that night is still debated, but here's what's clear. King Von, Lil Durk's protege and one of OTF's biggest rising stars, was in Atlanta with his team, including some members of OTF. Outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge, they ran into Quando Rondo and his crew. What began as a heated exchange turned chaotic within moments. Tension rose, things got out of control, and tragedy struck. King Von was seriously hurt and rushed to the hospital, but sadly, he didn't make it. The entire hip-hop community was left in shock. Social media exploded. Fans were heartbroken, and people wanted answers, fast. And this is where things got even more complicated for 21 Savage. Quando Rondo, who was present during the altercation, wasn't just anyone. He was one of NBA YoungBoy's closest friends and one of his most consistent collaborators. In the days that followed, emotions were running high. Members of OTF and their supporters began placing blame on Quando Rondo, and by association, many started pointing fingers at YoungBoy too. The reasoning was painful, but simple in the eyes of street culture. If your close friend is involved in a conflict, people automatically assume you're part of it too. For 21, that meant his two worlds had just collided in the worst possible way. On one side, there was OTF, a family he respected deeply and had grown close to. On the other, there was YoungBoy, someone he considered a brother. NBA YoungBoy's close bond with Quando Rondo instantly made him a target for blame and frustration from the OTF side after everything that happened. And right there, caught between two powerful camps, was 21 Savage, facing one of the hardest choices of his entire career. On one hand, he had a deep friendship with NBA YoungBoy, symbolized by that 4L tattoo YoungBoy had inked on his neck, a permanent sign of brotherhood and loyalty. But on the other, he had his family ties with Lil Durk and the OTF crew, a group that was heartbroken over the loss of King Von and looking for support from the people they trusted most. In one of the interview clips we found during research, 21 himself laid out exactly how he views loyalty. He said, "If you got a problem with him, and I mess with both of y'all, but I mess with him a little harder, I'm naturally gonna be like, man, just squash it. So before I be fake and play the middle, I'd rather just tell you to make peace so I don't gotta choose sides. There's no way I can be cool with both and act like it's all good." That statement explains everything. 21 wasn't built to fake loyalty. That's just not who he is. Once tension started rising, he couldn't pretend to play both sides. His loyalty runs deep, and when it came time to make a decision, he went with the side that felt most connected to him emotionally and personally. At that point, several things influenced his move toward OTF. His bond with Lil Durk had grown beyond just music. It had become something real, something rooted in shared experiences and trust. Durk wasn't just a collaborator anymore. He was like family. Lil Durk wasn't just a friend to 21 Savage. He had become a mentor, a business partner, and someone who truly helped him guide him through the ups and downs of fame. And when the situation surrounding King Von unfolded, it put 21 in an impossible position. Neutrality simply wasn't an option anymore. King Von's passing wasn't seen as some random tragedy. Many viewed it as part of a larger ongoing tension between different camps in hip-hop. For 21, staying close with YoungBoy during that time could have been seen as disrespectful to Von's memory and to the OTF family that were mourning one of their own. And for someone like 21, who lives by a strict code of loyalty and respect, that was something he couldn't allow himself to do. On top of that, 21 has always been clear about how he handles loyalty. In past interviews, he said he'd rather be real about where he stands than pretend to play both sides. To him, honesty and loyalty is everything. even if it cost him relationships. So when he finally made the choice to stand with OTF, it wasn't a slow drift apart from NBA YoungBoy. It was an immediate break, total and final. That decision hit YoungBoy hard. The 4L tattoo he'd gotten on his neck, once a proud symbol of their unbreakable brotherhood, now felt like a mark of pain. To him, it wasn't just about losing a friend. It was about losing someone he had genuinely trusted with his loyalty and respect. Seeing 21 choose to stand with people he now viewed as rivals must have felt like a deep personal blow. The ripple effect of that decision spread across the hip-hop world. Fans and artists were split. Some praised 21 for standing strong with OTF during their time of grief and saying it showed real loyalty. But others felt like he had walked away from a real friendship, one built on trust, all because of music politics. That situation shined a bright light on the complicated side of loyalty in hip-hop culture. Loyalty is one of the most respected values in the game, but it can also trap people in impossible situations where no choice feels right. To really understand how devastating this moment was, you have to understand the code that runs through the streets, a code that shaped both of these artists long before fame ever found them. In that world, loyalty isn't just about preference, it's about survival. If someone you care about gets hurt, you're expected to stand with them no matter what it costs you. Personally, that's the unwritten rule. And for 21 Savage, that was something he lived by. Even after reaching massive success, he never forgot where he came from or the code that raised him. So when King Von's passing shook the community, that same code demanded 21 make a choice. And he chose to stand with Von's people, with OTF, with family. It wasn't about business or charts. It was about loyalty and principle, plain and simple.
The loss of King Von didn't just take one life. It shattered bonds and ended a powerful brotherhood between two other South's biggest names. The tragedy didn't just change the streets, it changed the dynamic between NBA YoungBoy and 21 Savage forever. Right after that night, on November 6, 2020, the first sign that their friendship had broken wasn't some heated argument, diss track, or wild post online. It was silence, complete silence. Two people who had once been inseparable, who were constantly seen together and showing love publicly, suddenly stopped communicating altogether. For fans who had watched their friendship grow from day one, that silence was louder than words. No more shout-outs, no more studio sessions, no more appearances together. The 4L tattoo on YoungBoy's neck, once a proud symbol of loyalty and brotherhood, now served as a painful reminder of a connection that had vanished overnight. In hip-hop, people notice when something changes, especially when it comes to two major stars. The music industry might be global, but it's still a small world where news spreads fast. When YoungBoy and 21 stopped linking up, insiders and fans immediately started to speculate about what really went down. And with the timing coming so soon after King Von's death, everyone paying close attention could put two and two together. Behind the scenes, labels, promoters, and event planners had to move carefully, choosing how to handle both artists without crossing any lines. Planned collaborations quietly disappeared. Brand deals were shifted around, and major events that could have featured both artists suddenly had to pick a side. The fallout from 21 Savage and NBA YoungBoy's broken friendship didn't just stay between them, it sent waves across the entire hip-hop scene. Even though neither of them came out and directly spoke about the situation at first, fans who paid attention started picking up on the clues hidden in their music. Hip-hop has always had a tradition of speaking in code, artists using clever wordplay, double meanings, and subtle lines to get their message across without saying names outright. And both YoungBoy and 21 began doing exactly that. NBA YoungBoy, known for his raw emotion and straight-to-the-point storytelling, started dropping lyrics that touched on betrayal, lost loyalty, and fake love. He never mentioned 21 Savage by name, but the people who followed their friendship knew what he was talking about. Every bar, every emotional verse, it felt like he was speaking from the pain of losing someone he once trusted. 21 Savage, on the other hand, took a much quieter and more strategic route. His messages were hidden deeper, layered between his lyrics and interviews, subtle but noticeable for those who knew where to look. He was never direct, but his tone and timing spoke volumes. Then came social media, where the tension really started to show. Both artists began posting content that looked innocent to the casual fan, but those who understood the backstory could see the meaning underneath. A single caption,
an emoji, or even the timing of a post could be read as a quiet response to something the other had done. That's how modern hip-hop feuds play out. Not always through words, but through digital moves and coded signals. Yet this one hit differently because it wasn't just about competition or pride. Fans were suddenly caught in the middle and forced to pick sides. NBA YoungBoy's fan base, known for being incredibly loyal and passionate, started calling out 21 Savage, accusing him of switching up and turning his back on someone who once called him brother. Meanwhile, his supporters stood firmly behind him, saying he did what any real one would do: stand with family during a time of loss and pain. This divide between fan bases only turned up the heat. Every post, every lyric, and every public move made by either artist was watched, analyzed, and debated non-stop. What started as a personal fallout between two friends had now blown up into a full-blown public drama, with millions of people online taking sides and fueling the tension even more. Behind the scenes, the situation was even messier than it looked. The music business isn't just about talent. It's about relationships, deals, and money. And this feud started shaking all of that. Planned collaborations were canceled. Shared projects got shelved. And both artists had to navigate a complicated maze of industry politics. Record labels and management teams found themselves walking on eggshells, trying not to take sides too openly while still protecting their investments. No one wanted to risk being dragged into the conflict, but everyone in the industry could feel the divide getting deeper. Even promoters and event organizers had to make tough calls about who to book and where to draw the line. The loss hit fans hard because the friendship between NBA YoungBoy and 21 Savage had felt real. Unlike so many industry relationships that are built on convenience or profit, theirs had come from genuine respect, shared struggle, and real-life connection. Seeing all that potential, the music, the unity, the brotherhood, vanish was heartbreaking for the fans who had watched it grow from the start. As the months went by, that heavy silence between them slowly turned into something else: tension. The subliminal messages that had once been subtle in their lyrics and social media posts started becoming more noticeable. It wasn't open conflict yet, but everyone could feel it coming. The temperature was rising, and it was clear that this situation wasn't going to fade quietly. The hip-hop community was on edge, watching everything closely. People were waiting for the moment when one of them would finally cross the line, when the quiet tension would turn into open words, and it didn't take long for that moment to come. The first big spark in the public phase of their fallout came when 21 Savage started speaking more openly during podcast appearances and interviews. He didn't say NBA YoungBoy's name outright, but his comments were sharp and direct enough that everyone knew who he was referring to. This marked a turning point, the moment their feud stepped out from behind cryptic lyrics into public conversation. Through these interviews, 21 began to shape his own version of the story. He talked about loyalty, friendship, and betrayal, themes that hit right at the heart of his falling out with YoungBoy. Each comment felt intentional, sending a clear message that their friendship wasn't coming back. One of the most eye-opening moments came when 21 Savage spoke about his personal code when it comes to friendship and loyalty. In an interview we came across during research, he said, "A lot of people not gonna mess with NBA YoungBoy because they mess with Lil Durk." It sounded casual, but it was more than just an observation. It was 21 openly explaining his mindset and defending the choice he had made.
But the most talked about and dramatic moment in their entire fallout came during a Clubhouse session that went down in hip-hop history. For those who might not remember, Clubhouse was a live audio app that blew up during the pandemic, a place where artists, fans, and influencers could all talk in real time. It's where some of the wildest and most unexpected conversations in hip-hop happened, and this one was no different. According to multiple accounts from that night, NBA YoungBoy entered the Clubhouse room where 21 Savage was already talking, and things got tense fast. Reports say YoungBoy started calling him out, bringing up their broken friendship and questioning the choices 21 had made since their fallout. The exact details of what was said vary depending on who tells the story, but everyone agrees on one thing: it was heated. What made this moment so powerful was that it wasn't a song lyric, a podcast quote, or a social media post. It was real-time tension happening right in front of hundreds of listeners. Two artists who had once been brothers were now face-to-face, verbally confronting years of silence, pain, and loyalty gone wrong. After the heated clubhouse moment, 21 Savage started showing up on podcasts more than ever, and this time he wasn't holding back. Across different interviews, he began addressing the situation with NBA YoungBoy in increasingly direct ways. It wasn't random, it was strategy. By speaking first and speaking often, 21 was taking control of the narrative. He wanted to make sure people heard his side of the story, in his own words. That move gave him the power to frame the situation the way he saw it, not through rumors, not through blogs, but straight from his mouth. It also showed confidence. By talking about his choice to stand with OTF, 21 made it clear he had no regrets and wasn't second-guessing a thing. His interview sent a strong message. He wasn't hiding, he wasn't unsure, and he definitely wasn't backing down. On top of that, these appearances reminded everyone in the music world, artists, executives, and fans alike, exactly where his loyalty stood. There was no confusion about which side he had chosen. Meanwhile, both 21 and NBA YoungBoy kept using one of hip-hop's oldest and most respected tools, subliminal messaging through music. It's an art form in itself, the ability to send a sharp message without saying a name directly. It's all about phrasing, leaving just enough room for mystery while still making your target and your feelings crystal clear to those who know the backstory. NBA YoungBoy, with his emotionally raw and upfront style, began including lines that hit hard about betrayal, fake loyalty, and people switching up when the pressure hits. His listeners didn't need names. They knew exactly who those bars were aimed at. 21 Savage's subliminal messages weren't easy to catch. His disses were buried deep within his lyrics, layered with clever wordplay and hidden meanings that took multiple listens to fully decode. But make no mistake, they were there, and they were sharp. Social media became another stage in their ongoing tension. Both artists started posting content that seemed harmless at first glance, but carried weight for anyone who understood the history between them. A photo of 21 Savage hanging with OTF members wasn't just a random post. It was a loud statement of where his loyalty stood. And when NBA YoungBoy dropped cryptic captions about trust, loyalty, or betrayal, fans instantly knew those weren't just late-night thoughts. They were directed messages aimed straight at his former friend. This type of social media back and forth can wear everyone down, even the fans. People were glued to their screens, trying to break down every post, every lyric, every subtle move. But in today's hip-hop world, this digital tension has become part of the culture itself. Artists use every platform they can to express how they feel and to show exactly where they stand. The reaction from the hip-hop community was split and complicated. Some artists and insiders tried to stay out of it completely, knowing that taking sides could mess with their own relationships, deals, or image. Others didn't have that luxury. Their existing friendships made their choices for them. Those connected to OTF naturally supported 21's stance, while people in YoungBoy's camp stood firmly by him. This feud went beyond just two rappers. It reflected the deeper divisions and rivalries running through the culture itself. It was about loyalty, principles, and survival in a game where every move counts. If you've been following this story, you know how deep it runs. And there's still so much more to uncover about how this fallout shaped both artists' careers. So if you're feeling this breakdown, hit that like, drop a comment with whose side you think was more solid, and don't forget to subscribe for the next part of this wild hip-hop saga.